life in the Philippines 3 years to pandemic or 3 years after pandemic. The price for transportation has truly doubled. Since the pandemic, you cannot walk freely like a normal human being. Hi Lovelies, welcome back again to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ruth, BSN graduate from one of the universities here in the Philippines, and you are most welcome to Nursery Nook. For my old G's, thank you so much Lovelies for always tuning in to watch my video. In today's video, take a chill pill and please watch this video to the end. I'm going to be sharing with you life in the Philippines 3 years to pandemic or 3 years after pandemic. Way of life I've really missed since the pandemic. Those things are no longer the usual way it used to be. There is a kind of change in this point I'm going to make. This basically does not mean that it's only in Philippines that these things are happening. The world generally has really changed because of the pandemic. So life in the world generally, it has not been normal in the world. Let me put it like that in quotes. A lot of things have changed and some persons have been going through a lot. If you are seeing this video, I thank God for your life. I thank God for my life, that we are still here to share the experiences since the pandemic. So if you are watching this video, I want you to know that I celebrate you, because from 2019 to this moment, it has not been easy generally in the world. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some way of life I missed here in the Philippines since the pandemic. The number one thing is eateries. I'm staying in the province here in the Philippines. So before the pandemic, if you go to school, we have a lot of eateries both in the school and at the back of my school. So you can go there during lunch break to eat, Like me, I stay very close to my school. So whether school or no school, I feel sometimes like eating Filipino food. I have a restaurant I like eating from. But since pandemic, some of these eateries, they've not been opening. I have one particular favorite restaurant I like eating from. They are couple, they run it together. They cook so well. It was eating from their shop I fell in love with chicken adobo, chicken curry, chicken afritada, and some Filipino meals. They cook these dishes very well. I don't eat from every of these restaurants, because sometimes you can go to a restaurant and maybe what you will be served as a foreigner, it may not really go well with your taste buds. But this restaurant, some of them cook so well, especially for this couple. People love eating from their shops. But since the pandemic, it has really affected some of these local restaurants. Some of them have not been opening, and I miss that kind of eateries. Even for some like Jollibee and Magdo, normally when the world was in normal shape, you can just walk down to any of these places, buy food without checking your temperature and all of that. So I miss that kind of life of walking into any eatery at any time, any moment. So I miss that. The second one is visiting friends. Being that I'm the only foreigner in my class, yes, I was the only foreigner in my class. I'm really close to some of my classmates, and they do visit me once in a while, and I visit them once in a while. But before the pandemic, the visitation and closeness was much better compared to now. Now everybody is being health conscious, let me put it like that. Everyone is a suspect, kind of, especially the more you expose yourself to crowd or to people, or you'll be at risk of contracting the virus. So for you to visit friends now, especially Filipino friends and family, you have to be health conscious, and they themselves as Filipinos, they are more strict with it, and they are more conscious with that. So another thing that have not been going normal compared to how it used to be before is, if you want to go to any of these government offices or places, the stress you will pass through, oh my God. Like if you want to go to DFA office, any of these, even school, for you to go to any of these places, the stress. For the government offices, if you want to go there, you even have to book an appointment ahead of time. For us that are foreigners, for us to get our annual reports, you go to the immigration. Before you go there, you have to book appointment. Anywhere you want to go, you book appointment before you go there. Unlike the time the world was normal, You go to any of these offices unannounced, you go there anytime, and you get your things done. But now, if you go to any of these places unannounced, you also go back unannounced. The way it is now is for you to book appointments ahead of time before you have a date to visit any of these offices. That's what I've really missed when the life was normal. You go there anytime, you walk in anytime, get your things done anytime. I miss that kind of thing, you know. So the next point is transportation in the Philippines. I've really missed the system of transportation here in the Philippines. Oh my God. Before now, if I want to travel from the city where I'm staying to a place like Manila or Pampanga, you just go to any of these terminals, Liner or 5-star, anyone. You just go there and you get a bus anytime, you know. But right now, if you are going to Manila, the last time I traveled to Manila, I went to Liner. I went a day before just for me to be sure, because as at the time, at the heat of pandemic, there was no buses, whether Liner or 5-star, where that was the heat of pandemic, no buses as at that time. The last time I traveled, I wanted to be sure if there will be a bus to Manila the next day. So I went a day before to make an inquiry. When I got there, they told me that there will be a bus to Manila, but it is no longer one-way bus. That's, the bus is not going to leave from the city where I'm staying straight to Manila the way it used to be before. Instead, from the city where I'm staying, they are all going to highlight in another city. Then from that city to the place I'm going to in Manila. I asked how much for the transport. From where I'm staying to the first city, they told me the price. And then from that city to Manila, they told me how much I'm to pay again. When I calculated everything, I was going to spend close to 700 plus, almost 800 pesos. And I thought to myself, the stress, one is I'm going to break the journey. Another one is that the fare, which is the money, it's almost ×2 or even 3 of the former fee. When I thought about it, I told myself, I cannot go through this stress just for the difference of 300, 400 pesos. Actually, if you want to go to Manila during the pandemic and even up till now, there are private cars that convey people from the city where I'm staying to Manila, and it's one way. They will drop you at the place you are going to, like anywhere you are going to, they will drop you there straight up. No picking of taxi again to where you are going to. So when I thought about it, I said I cannot, with a difference of 400 or 300 pesos, go through that stress of taking the public transport, which is the Liner or 5-star. So I opted for the private car. And apart from travel being smooth, I mean, when the world was normal, travel used to be smooth. It used to be so interesting. You have Wi-Fi in the bus, you sleep and wake up, you continue with your Wi-Fi. It used to be so fun traveling before the pandemic and in those big buses, you know. Apart from the transportation now not being one way again, not being straightforward again like it used to be, the money has increased. So this pandemic has really changed a lot of things here. I'm talking about Philippines. I know it is generally in the world, but I'm talking based on where I am staying. So it has really affected a lot of things, both in prices and in movement and everything. So the price for transportation has truly doubled. And again, even the jeepney, you know, in the province we use more of jeepney and tricycle to commute. If you are going to make use of the jeepney now, before we have student discounts of 10%. So if you want to take jeepney, instead of, normally it used to be 8 pesos, but when you show your ID card as a student, they give you some discounts, and instead of 8 pesos, you may be paying like 7 pesos. But now, since the pandemic, we have been paying 10 pesos. I know that 10 pesos is not too much, but I'm just saying, just for you to see the difference in life then and life now in the Philippines. So the pandemic has really affected a lot of things, both monetary and otherwise, you know. So transportation now, the prices and everything, even the movement, it has really changed. That's one of the changes or the things that the pandemic has done to us in the Philippines. The next point is, oh my God, I really miss this one so much. The next point is festivals in the Philippines. I don't know if some cities, if they still do their own festivals, But in the city where I am staying, there is this festival that they used to have these festivals yearly. It's an annual festival. They have it either March or April every year. But since the pandemic, they've not done anything of such. I miss those festivals, you know. I miss those live, because during that festivals we eat a lot of bangus fish, which is milk fish, and they have a lot of activities. It's not just a day thing. They do it about up to 5 days or 1 week. Yeah, they do it almost up to 1 week. They do different activities at night for that festival, and it used to be so much fun. I miss that life. I'm still hoping that at least this year they will do it. Since the pandemic, the restriction has been lifting a lot of things. They used to have a lot of festivals, a lot of celebrations, a lot of things, you know, merry. But those things now, they've not been doing it again. So we hope that in no distant time, all those things will come back again to normalcy, and everything will take a better shape. And I look forward to having it again, at least before I leave the Philippines. Anyways, that's one of the things I miss when the life was in normal shape here in the Philippines. Another thing I miss about the life here before this pandemic is traveling around, you know. Before the pandemic, I've not been traveling before the pandemic. Yeah, even though I really want to travel. As at that time, my first time, that's my first year and second year in nursing, I didn't even have enough time for myself because of studies, and again because of the money. Then when you think of, instead of traveling, okay, let me use this to either pay my tuition or to use this to pay my rent and all of that. So things then was, you know, we have to use our head to do things. You understand? So then when the world was normal, to get a visa is not that difficult as far as you have your student visa here in the Philippines. Before, it used to be so easy to travel from Philippines to any of these Asian countries, whether Korea, China, Thailand, any of these countries. Although it's still easy to travel now, but not as easy as it used to be before. Before now, if you want to travel, it's just for you to have your money, your pera, you know. Once you have your pera, you are good to go. It's just for you to have it. To get the visa or to make arrangements, you have a lot of agencies here you can use. You can even do it yourself online and everything, and it's so easy. But now, if you want to travel, you go through things listed for you to do before you even think of traveling. You come back, you think of quarantine, like we wanted to travel that last year. When we now saw everything, for you to travel, you do this, you do test, you do the other one, then you come back, you go on quarantine. That was how we cancelled the trip, and we did not even bother to think of traveling that last year again. That's one of the things I missed about how the life used to be when the world was normal. I missed it here in the Philippines. Even though you want to travel within Philippines now, like the islands, visit them and all of that, it's not really as flexible as it used to be before, you know. Even though you can do it now, but what I'm saying is it's not as flexible. The protocol procedures to follow for your travel is not as flexible as it used to be before. And monetarily too, anything used to pay normal before, if you want to do it now, you may be spending more of what it used to be before. Before you go through all the tests, you see that you are spending much more than it used to be before. So another thing is the nightlife in the province or in the Philippines. Oh my God, I miss the nightlife here. Since the pandemic, you know, you have the curfew time in some shops that used to stay up till 10, 11 p.m. Before 7 now, 8, they're already closing their shops. It's not like as it used to be before. Like in the place where I am staying, there used to be a joint there. So each time in that joint, you always find them college students in that joint. They have a lot of things they do there. They also play karaoke. You'll be hearing the sound of the music in those nightlife. I miss it now, you know. It's no longer the way it used to be before. Most shops now close as early as 8, some 9. You know, during the time of pandemic, they have curfew time. So even the time, people are almost used to that system of living, you know. So even though everything now is being, they are lifting things up now based on it's getting better now. people are almost used to that time of 7, 8, you need to be indoors and all of that. And some of these shops, some of these joints that you have where they drink and where they play their karaoke, they are even yet to open some of those shops. The one very close to my house, they are yet to even open it. These are some of the things I miss, especially now that I'm a vlogger, that I'm supposed to be bringing these contents to you guys. We don't have it here anymore, so I miss those things. Sometimes I oh my god, how wish this thing will be back to normal again. At least now that I'm a content creator, I would have shown you guys a lot of those beautiful things, but now some of them, it's no more, you know. Like that karaoke, I miss the karaoke joints, those kind of joints. I miss it so much. Another thing I miss is walking freely like a normal human being. Since the pandemic, you cannot walk freely like a normal human being. Normal in the sense that you are all dressed up, you wear your beautiful makeup and your lipstick and all of that. You flaunt your beauty. You cannot flaunt your beauty now. No, if you want to flaunt your beauty, you flaunt it inside your house. If you are going out on public, you have to max yourself up. Oh my god, this thing is so irritating sometimes. It is so irritating, but it's for the good of everybody. We have to wear it. It's just like we got no option but to wear it. After dressing fine, you make up fine, you do so cute and beautiful, you must max your nose. You max your nose. Thank god at least now they've allowed us to start moving without face shield. Before, when it was at the heat of it, you max your nose and you wear your face shield. So I miss it so much because there is no how you cute up now, like buff up well, dress well, make up well, and you say you want to flaunt your beauty in the Philippines. No, you got to max all those things up. So I miss that free life, that free movement, you know, everything. Because even wearing masks now, you can hardly recognize someone you know. If that person is wearing shield, if they are wearing the face shield, you can hardly tell that you know this person, except if maybe you have that kind of strong sight, or you already know the shape of the face or head or body and all of that. But with the masks and everything, you can hardly tell someone you know. You can walk past someone you know. Anyway, I miss that free life of walking freely, moving freely, entering places freely and all of that. So the last and the final thing I miss so much is Filipino way of greeting the elderly ones. Oh my god, I miss it so much. I know I'm not a Filipino, but I love that part of them so much because I was already adapting to that greeting. If I see an elderly man, especially those nanais and tatai, I greet them, I take their hand because they believe that that thing is blessing. So I also believe that, okay, since they believe that, it will also work for me. Even in the church, if I go to church, I see them, when you greet them, those ones that there are some that are so friendly. They see you, they start smiling, and once you greet them, they answer you. Those ones, immediately I take their hand and I hit on my head, and they are also very happy when you do that to them. Even as a foreigner, when you do that to them as a foreigner, it means you are adapting to their culture. They feel happy anytime I do something like that. But now, since the pandemic, everybody is being conscious. Sometimes if I see those elderly ones, if I see them, I'll greet them. Even the ones that I'm very close to, for me to take their hand, I'm always very conscious. The reason I'm conscious is because of them, not because of me. I don't know if they will feel happy taking their palm and hitting on my head. I don't know if they will feel happy, or maybe it will irritate, or they will be angry. I don't really know how they will feel. So to be on a safer side, I just greet them, and the ones I rapport very well with, I also greet them without taking their hand to do that. Is it mano? Mano. Yeah, mano is mano, right? That's their way of greeting. Mano. I'm going to put the right pronunciation and spelling on the screen. Take their hand, the elderly person's hand, and hit on your forehead. They believe that is a blessing, you know. And I love it. I love that culture so much, and they will be so happy when you do something like that. But now I don't want to offend them, or I don't want in a way to get them angry, or maybe I don't really know how to do it. So if I just see them, We smile, I greet, and we pass each other. Even in the church, I don't do it again. There is this elderly man in my church. He's so fond of me, so I read in my church as a lector. So anytime I finish reading, the man will always come to me and he will be like, how come I'm a foreigner? But he always understands whenever I'm reading. Anyway, that was what he used to say. And there was a time the family, they invited me for their get together. They were having family stuff, and then I was not a content creator, so when he invited me, I went to his house. All his children, grandchildren, they were there, his wife, they were all there, and they were happy. They welcomed me. And since the pandemic, I've been missing his face. I've not been seeing him in the church, and I'm so scared to even go to his house. I know where they are staying because they've invited me over for lunch before. I'm so scared to go and ask after him and his wife because of all this pandemic, and I've not been seeing him in the church again. I call him Papa, and he understands when I call him Papa. I've been missing his face. To go to his house, I don't know how to do it, still because of this pandemic, because I don't want to get them offended. I don't know what to do so they don't get angry, you know. And that's how it has been. So these are all the things that this pandemic has really caused, and it has made me miss the former way of life here, because the way things are going now, things are no longer the way it used to be. I just hope and pray that in no distant time that the world will come back to normal and everything will fall back to shape. That's just my wish and my prayer. So Lovelies, that's it for this video. I've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking by. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do well to hit the red subscribe button, subscribe to this channel, and please remember to turn on your post notification bell that says all, so you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. Give this video a huge thumbs up and leave your comments down in the comment section. I want to know, what do you really miss about life when life was in normal shape and now in the pandemic? Let's share experience and thoughts down below. Share your own experience as I have shared mine with you guys. And if you have video suggestions for me, please do well to leave it in the comment section. I would sincerely appreciate it. Share this video with your family and friends, and until I come your way next time, I remain your favorite nurse, Ruth, signing out. Love you all. Bye.